This face. Where have we seen this face before? Let's talk about it. Now, it's clearer than ever that Frieza is going to have a huge role in the future of Dragon Ball Super, but what exactly is Frieza's plan? Well, Toyotaro may have actually left us a hint in terms of the future of Frieza's plans. Now, at the beginning of my video, I brought up this face. I brought up this face that Frieza made, and I have my reasons. And that is because the last time we saw Frieza make this face, it was because he was being tricky. It is because he was being manipulative. Now, Frieza has definitely proven to be a chess master in the last arc of Dragon Ball Super, but he's always been a master manipulator. Now, the first time Frieza made this face was whenever he was on Namek, and he tricked one of the Namekian elders into giving him the Dragon Balls through offering to spare the lives of the Namekian children that were present at the time. And then as soon as he got the Dragon Balls, of course, he wiped out the elder, and of course, if it wasn't for Gohan, the kids would have been killed. Now, in the Granola arc, Frieza makes it very clear that there isn't anything in the universe that he's not privy to. And this is very, very important because it seems as though they're building up to Frieza being the type of villain that a lot of fans thought Elec was going to be in Dragon Ball Super. Essentially, this master manipulator who has access to all the information in the universe, and as a result can do things that other villains cannot. Elec actually mentions at the beginning of the Granola arc that information is the real power in the universe. Now, Zuno is a reoccurring character in Dragon Ball Super. He's actually been used quite a bit. And the reason for this is because it's a direct play, it's kind of a parody and a reference to whenever Sun Wukong would go to a Buddha in order to gain some kind of knowledge or some kind of truth or some kind of wisdom. Zuno is a direct play on this aspect of the storytelling in Journey to the West. This happens quite a few times where Sun Wukong will have to go to either the Goddess of Mercy or a Buddha for wisdom multiple times in the story, and of course Zuno is a play on this. Now, if you've watched my previous videos about Frieza, you'll know that Frieza has achieved his perfect balance similar to Goku on Namek through his Black Frieza transformation, and so it makes perfect sense for him to go visit Zuno afterwards, and Toyotaro actually left us a direct hint as far as this being a part of the future events multiple times in the Granola arc, including in a bonus panel where Zuno actually offers to give Maki an extra 10 questions. But what exactly would Frieza ask for if he could take advantage of this? Well, since Frieza made it clear that he is already aware of all of the information that Elec and Gas collected in the Granola arc, the possibilities are endless in terms of what Frieza's actual intentions are in terms of climbing the hierarchy of the gods, because we all know, based on the Tournament of Power and based on things that Frieza has said, his goal is to dethrone Zeno and rule the multiverse. But how exactly is he going to do that? One thing I noticed about Frieza is whenever he is allured to being a criminal, this offends him greatly. And this is a odd character trait for a villain to have, but it actually makes sense for Frieza because Frieza considers himself the emperor of the universe. So essentially he looks at himself as some form of royalty. It's not necessarily that he just feels superior in the sense that he's the strongest. It's not like that at all. He actually feels that he's not only a superior life form in terms of being evolved. He considers the Saiyans barbarians and monkeys, as he said multiple times. He feels that he's a higher evolved life form, but he also feels that he deserves to be some form of royalty. And in the Granola arc, his ability to manipulate a situation through biding his time and not acting immediately and aggressively is something that's highlighted and used to complement his character to a great extent through the grand finale of the arc, when Frieza was allowing everything to play out the way that he wanted it to in order for him to come out with the best possible scenario and be the one on top of the situation who is going to benefit the most. And this is a reflection of what I think Frieza's plan is. Whatever his plan is, it's going to have something to do with using information and things of that nature to essentially create the best possible scenario for himself rather than just being aggressive and trying to rule with an iron fist. Frieza is going to be manipulative in the same way he was back when his character was first introduced on Namek. And I think that that is the new aspect of his character progression that they're going to play on over all else, is his ability to sort of be savvy and mindful of the situation to where when things work out in just a certain way, he can strike. So essentially, I think his plan is to do something very, very similar to Elec, but do it right. And so I think with all of the hints that we've gotten, it's very, very clear what's happening here. Frieza intends to bide his time, use the information that he has at his disposal, and be patient enough to where Goku can become powerful enough that he is a threat to not only Beerus, but the rest of the gods. I think Frieza is actually counting on Vegeta and Goku getting stronger. I don't think Frieza himself has completely rolled over. I think he wants to be as powerful as he possibly can be as well, but I think that he knows that the Saiyans have the ability to grow way stronger, way faster than he does, and Frieza actually allures to the fact that he is aware of this at the end of Dragon Ball Super Broly, when he essentially states that no matter how strong he gets, he can't keep up with the progression or the growth that Goku and Vegeta go through at such an accelerated rate in comparison. And so the entire reason that he attacked Goku and Vegeta at the end of the arc the way that he did was to essentially give them both the motivation that they need in order to surpass him, so that way he can manipulate them and use them to essentially create chaos amongst the hierarchy of the gods, because Goku has already shown that he is very talented in doing this already. So I think Elec was sort of a prototype of what they want to do with Frieza. But what's really interesting about all of the stuff that they've allured to for Frieza so far is they haven't just allured to him manipulating and using Goku like they did in the Tournament of Power in the anime. That's not the only hint they gave us at future events. Frieza also has the intentions of manipulating Broly against Goku and Vegeta. He said this at the end of the Dragon Ball Super Broly film. Also in the Dragon Ball Super anime, when Golden Frieza is first resurrected before the Tournament of Power, he makes it clear that his intention is to manipulate the gods in general. He wants to manipulate all of the gods. And so I do see Frieza basically just being patient, biding his time, and trying to be the best manipulator that he can possibly be in order to not only cause chaos amongst the hierarchy of the gods, but I also think that he's going to try to cause chaos amongst Goku and his comrades, because it makes perfect sense for Frieza to try and destroy everyone from the inside out, because that's exactly what he let Gas and Elec do. He essentially just let them destroy themselves. And Frieza is in a position now to take advantage of this more than he ever has been. And it's actually very, very appropriate because, as I mentioned before, Frieza, Vegeta, and Goku, all three of them have this yin-yang aesthetic right now, which I think is really cool. The entire idea behind Taoism is to get things done through letting things happen. That is essentially the base philosophy for the Tao itself, and for the idea of yin and yang, is to get things done by letting things happen. So essentially the idea is to let nature take its course, so that way you can take advantage of all of these events that progress naturally and create the best possible scenario for yourself. Now, if I was a betting man, this is how I think it will go. There's been all kinds of cheeky nods at Frieza taking advantage of the idea of enlightenment in order to create the best possible scenario for himself. Even manipulating Goku into helping him do that is a cheeky nod at literally manipulating somebody whose name translates into enlightenment into creating the best possible scenario for himself. But if you watch my videos, you know that Akira Toriyama constantly uses plot points from Journey to the West because it's easy to do and it's fun. It's really fun to switch things around and write a story using plot points from Journey to the West, but doing it in your own way. And that's essentially what Akira Toriyama does. But essentially this whole idea of some being, some mortal existing in the universe who wants to take over heaven and rule over the universe, yada, 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 all of that is directly ripped from Journey to the West. Sun Wukong, that was his entire thing. He wanted to take over heaven, he wanted to become the Jade Emperor, and he wanted to rule over everything. And he did this through using his ability to become a Buddha at will to manipulate reality into his favor, to where he can essentially create the best possible scenario for himself. So you can see that this is clearly playing out the exact same way. But in terms of how exactly I think Frieza's going to do this, he's going to gain access to the information that he needs, and he's just going to let things play out and use that information wisely as he needs it. And I think that that is going to be Frieza's approach in the future, is he's essentially just going to let things play out, and as things play out, he's going to take advantage of the opportunities that he's going to create for himself, and he's just going to essentially manipulate his way into trying to dethrone Zeno and become the ruler of the multiverse. And it's all very appropriate and cool because Sun Wukong himself was a Taoist deity who was a literal representation of the ideas of yin and yang, and that's why a lot of people don't understand just how cool this whole thing is, because not only is Frieza sort of emulating Sun Wukong, but you've also got Goku and Vegeta, two aspects of Sun Wukong's character who are being treated as a literal representation of yin and yang, being forced to reckon with this character. And so the modern era of Dragon Ball is just ridiculously cool and creative in that sense. So this is the face of a man who is plotting. This is the face of a man who is manipulating and is ready to put his plan into action. If you guys have any ideas in terms of what exactly you think Frieza is going to do to be such a massive threat to Goku and Vegeta in the future, besides just being ridiculously powerful, please leave a comment. I would love to hear your thoughts. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.